in and out of here. I mean, okay, so who all is exhausted because of the daylight savings? I mean, I'm like was ready for bed an hour ago. And I think my dog was too. I think it's like fooled my dog because she was like pawing me to eat like an hour early. But it's so funny because like I texted Polly, like she was telling me she was gonna be on something. I was like, oh, you're not gonna be on the call. And I texted Blanca, like, be on the call. And then everyone's like, it's in an hour, right? We forgot to set our kitchen clocks. And I was doing this like little project in the kitchen while Atticus was cooking. And like I was like ready for the call an hour ago. And then I was like, oh my gosh, another hour. So yes, I'm going to bed after this. But I'm super excited. Okay, so what I want to train with y'all. So basically, like what I've been feeling like just lately, like on the trainings, is really just kind of like the vibe of everyone that I'm talking to all week long. And so what I really want to focus on tonight is just something that we all know is part of the business. And then I want to open it up for discussion afterwards. So like the training part would be like real quick. And then I want to open it up to like work on things that might be going on with your business. So it's all on follow-up. So y'all have probably heard this before because I posted this on our Facebook page months and months ago. But I want to read to you these statistics because this is like really, it's just really eye-opening, and it really like just shows you like how our system works and like why we do what we do. But so I'm going to read these statistics slowly so we can absorb them all. So 60% of customers will say no 4 times before they will say yes. Okay, so 60%, more than half, 60% of customers will say no 4 times before they will say yes. Okay, there's that one. And 80% of sales are made on the 5th follow-up. Okay, so think about that. 60% of customers will say no 4 times before they say yes. 80% of sales are made on the 5th follow-up. So like that's consistent. Does that make sense? Like that's like 80% are made on the 5th. Okay. Here's something interesting for us to know. 44% of salespeople give up after the first no. Okay, 44% of salespeople, of us, give up after the first no. 22% of salespeople give up after the second no. 14% give up after the third no. And 12% give up after the fourth no. So 92% give up by the fourth no, leaving only 8% of us to ask for the 5th time. And remember, 80% of sales are made on the 5th follow-up. Okay, did y'all absorb all that? Like, do you want me to go through those again now that you kind of know like what I'm leading to? I'm gonna read through it quickly now, just since you know like the point that I'm getting at. Okay, so 60% of customers will say no 4 times before they will say yes. And 80% of sales are made on the 5th follow-up. Okay, so we know that they're going to say no 4 times. They say yes on the 5th time, but only 80% of sales, or 80% of sales are made on the 5th follow-up. Okay, 44% of salespeople, so 44% of people like us, give up after the first no. So what does that look like? You reach out to someone, hey, can I show you about Arbonne? They don't answer. You're like, next, like you give up. Okay, 22% of salespeople give up after the second no. So I circled back to them. They're just like, yeah, I'm not really interested. Oh, I'm going to take them off my list. Okay, no, remember, a no is not a no. A no is not right now. 14% give up after the third no. 12% give up after the fourth no. And it'd be really interesting if I could like color out like how many blocks of us, like our little squares, to show you like how many people would be left standing in this little scenario. But 92% give up by the fourth no, leaving only 8% of us to ask for the 5th time. And remember, 80% of sales are made on the 5th follow-up. Okay, so why is this important to know? Well, for so many reasons. First off, like, we always say we have an exposure business, right? And like, I think some people get a little confused about what an exposure is. An exposure is, like today we're at Moss Rock. An exposure was someone drinking a fizz and then asking them, that's exposure number 1. Exposure number 2 is going to be if I can connect with them and do like the 1-pager with them. or see if I can invite them to a Facebook event or something. But keep in mind, I've already reached out to like 2 sheets of these today, and I haven't gotten any response back. And I told Paula, like, so I'm 3-way messaging them with me, like myself and Paula, since she's new, and then the person, to show Paula that, like, I don't give up after the first one. You ghost me, it's fine. I'm used to it. Like, I mean, I'm the last man standing. I guarantee you. Like, that is the one thing with this business. I know Polly and I have always said this. They said, that like you'll go to if you give it 10 years, you just don't quit, you'll be at the top of the company. I mean, okay, I can do that. I can stick around. I've got staying power. So like, so the exposures are, I think of it in my mind like a little like game. And so if you think about it with these statistics, like, why are we doing exposures? Why do I invite someone to a Facebook party? Because they're fun? No, I mean, they are fun, but that's not why I'm inviting someone to them. I'm trying to give them, I'm giving people like little bite-sized pieces, of Arbonne. And so why do I send a fizz in the mail? Because like, I want them to buy fizz? No, because I'm just doing little touches. I want them to be like, wow, that Andrea Rominger, like, she's serious about Arbonne, or, oh, Andrea Rominger is really passionate about Arbonne, or, oh, Andrea Rominger, like, like I want them to think of Arbonne. I want them to think of me. And so like little things like that are going to happen. If someone gets on the product, that's an exposure every night that they're using it. Like, wow, this product's really good. So like all of these things are exposures. And we know that it takes someone like in our business now, it takes someone 2 to 3 exposures to make a decision on the product. So again, what does that look like? Someone shows up at a Facebook event, do they order that night? No, like that never happens. I mean, occasionally it will, but like, then it takes like another exposure. Hey, can I make you a recommended cart? Hey, I'd love to send you a video. Or, hey, look at this about the 30-day. Does that make sense? Like, those are different exposures. So it takes 2 to 3 of those exposures. Like, this is not a one and done thing, but it takes like 5 to 100 exposures to make a decision on the business. Okay. So even after you get someone, if you have someone in your tracker and they're a preferred client, don't take them out, because isn't the ultimate goal to get someone to be on your team and be a business partner? Well, just know that you're just going to keep the exposures going. I have plenty of like, preferred clients. Like when we have car presentations, when someone gets their Mercedes with Arbonne, why do I like invite people like that are preferred clients? Like, do I want them to buy? Is it going to incentivize them to buy more product? No, it's going to get them to look at the business. Like, why am I posting things like on Instagram and Facebook about like my business and about like a fizz stick and about me making my amazing like blizzards with the protein powder? Because they're exposures. Like, that's all they are. Is that like, I can't tell you how many times, like last night we were at dinner at people's house and they were like, hey, I saw that you have like, do you have a high school girl on your team? Like, I didn't even know that they were paying attention to like what, and I was just like, oh yeah. They're like, yeah. I'm like, how did you know? They're like, oh, I saw you post something on Instagram. Like, I don't even post that much, like I'm not like one of those people like who are doing a good job with social media. But all that just to show you guys, like everything that we're doing, they're just little exposures. They're not going to like sell the product. They're not going to get someone on your team, but they are going to help move the needle in that direction. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So all of that to say, because I want to open it up for discussion, are you like committed to doing the follow-up? Because the thing is like, it's interesting when I meet with people, like when I'm coaching people, and they're just like especially when I go through their tracker, like that's super eye-opening to me, because it's like, because I'm always thinking like, oh my gosh, like so not a big deal. Like this is so fixable, because like they're thinking like that their business is in the toilet, and they're not doing a good job or whatever. And I'm like, oh, like we're just going to reach out to them again. And this is what we're going to say this time. Like to Paula, for instance, today, like I told her, like we had told everyone who signed up for these lists that one of the things we said is like, oh, why don't you put your name and number here and we'll send you a digital catalog, and we'd say like one of the best ways we connect with people is by educating them about Arbonne, the ingredient policy, like the philosophy, and then you decide, but we said, if you put your name and number here, we'll send you a digital catalog. Well, I told Paula before I left today, I said, okay, I'm sending this text out to everyone. I'm not sending the digital catalog on the first text. Like I'm texting them, but my excuse for texting them again tomorrow or Wednesday or whenever it's going to be, is going to be like, oh yeah, here's the digital cat. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? Like I'm doing like little exposures. Like it's just like if I'm like have my dog Wheezy and I'm just like putting dog treats out to like make her follow me. You know, like that's what you're doing with this business. And so just think about that. Like, you know, a lot of times people get really all bent out of shape with their business, like nothing's happening, you know, no one's doing anything, you know, and it's like, well, you know, there's a saying in Arbonne, when it feels like nothing's happening, everything is happening. And that's so true. Like this is a whole other training. But y'all, one of the things is you have to fall in love with the mediocrity of this business. Like you've gotta fall in love with the day-to-day mundane things. Like when I do this in the morning, like there is nothing sexy about it. And believe me, if you're in my breakfast room watching me, there is truly nothing sexy about what I do with that. Like, I mean, it is boring. Like, I mean, once I get into it, it's fine, but it's like, it doesn't like, I'm not like, I can't wait to jump into my 5 and 5s. Like, it's literally just like, all right, I guess I'm gonna do this before I go work out, or I'm gonna do this, you know, like it is like literally like brushing my teeth. I mean, again, who cannot stand it when you're exhausted and you have that 2-minute buzzy toothbrush? Like, does that not feel like an eternity? Like brush it, like I'm always like, oh, I gotta brush my teeth before I go to bed. And I can think of 10 other things that I can do to procrastinate before I brush my teeth and wash my face to go to bed. It's the same thing with this. Like it has to get done for my business to move forward. I have to do this every day, but it's not exciting. Like the exciting stuff comes as a result of doing this, you know, which are earning the trips, promoting someone, getting someone new on your team, you know, like fun product launches and like having someone to sell it to, you know, like that comes as a result of doing all like the mundane work. So with all that said, I'd love to open it up for discussion right now. Like who out there, which I know is everyone, like feels like just let's talk through like some of your follow-up. Like, you know, like, okay, hey, I have this situation where, or I'm trying to reach out to this person who, like, let's talk about it for a minute.
So can I go first?
Yeah.
So I guess my thing with people that I know really well, like I don't want to turn anyone off and annoy a friend, which I mean, I wasn't annoyed when you approached me, but like I
Of
feel
course
kind of,
not.
no, but I feel weird like approaching people that I'm like really close with. Because I don't want them to be like, oh God, Paula's like trying to sell me some, you know, whatever.
Okay.
So that's kind of like just one of my little things. I'm like, other people, I don't care, but you know, I don't know, just close friends and stuff. I'm like kind of weird about it.
So one thing, like that's a valid point. Everyone does not like to reach out to like the people, like they're always the harder people to do. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna have Lauren Robinson, you answer that question. Like, how would you handle that situation?
I would say that we've all felt that way in the beginning for sure. But I like the shoe store analogy for that. So if you were opening your own shoe store and you were having, you know, your grand opening, you're going to invite all your friends and family to come support you. Does that mean that everybody's going to purchase a pair of shoes? No, but they're going to be there to support you. So I think it's just, again, making this about, you know, when you reach out to people that are close to you, and you might not sell to them, and that's okay, but you're using them as a connector. I think,
Okay.
unless they're on your dream team, of course. If they're on your dream team, you're going to be bold and direct and say, I want you to do this with me. Come take a look at this. But I think in other situations, it's just, you know, you want to show them what you do and you want to pick their brain. You want their eyes on it because you value their friendship and their opinion.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you want them to see what it is that you're going to be doing, so that they can be, you know, eyes and ears for you in the community and they can connect you in the future, if not now.
Okay. Yeah. 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 There's definitely,
I mean, one thing to remember, this is how business is done in the real world. I mean, this is how, you know, like if you have a company or if you like work for a company, like I can't tell you how many like coffee dates Atticus has. Like I'm gonna take myself out of the situation because I mean, I know that mine are like all the time, like literally just like, can I show you what I'm doing? But let's take my husband who has nothing to do with Arbonne and works for a nonprofit. Like he's not selling anything, you know, except for like the vision. But like he's meeting with people all the time saying, you know, hey, can I show you what we're doing? Hey, can I show you what we're doing? And it might not be that that other person across the table even has something to offer him or that Atticus has something to offer the other person. But like it might even be that they're like, you know what, like what you're doing, just like yesterday, that booth that I was talking to those people, who do that food project thing, you know, I was
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, like I can connect you with someone who'd be great at, you know, like, I mean,
Mhm.
that's how, this is how business is done. And so
Yeah.
you have to like, and it ties into belief. Like you have, and of course you're just starting. So how would you have this belief? But so you're going to have to read books, be on calls, like do all this stuff to build that belief. Like, I feel like I mean, I have the most amazing opportunity, you know, and like, I'm like, why wouldn't people want to do it? Like, that's why I always joke around and say, oh, okay, you don't want to make a 6-figure income, get a free Mercedes and like work part-time. Okay.
Okay.
Go back to your job. Have fun with that. But you know, like, I mean, I think what we have is the most amazing thing in the world. But I mean, it comes from belief, you know, and like that has to grow, you know, and
Yeah.
that's why again, like there's like, you know, all of that kind of is tied in together, you know, with growing. But I mean, I'll help you with that. Like, of course, getting started, you know, reaching out to your warm market. But also remember that one girl who used to be your neighbor who
Yeah.
said, she's like,
She'd be
hey, she's
perfect.
like, I just want to support her. She's like, and
Yeah.
I'm like, that's awesome. We'll be calling you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay.
And always drip on them and always gift them Arbonne
Yeah.
Mhm.
for holidays, birthdays, whatever. Just
Okay. Always. Okay.
I know someone else has something else in their head.
I'll go. So, oh, I just saw the chat. Sorry, I wasn't paying attention. But to the chat. But okay, so one thing I noticed when I was doing my 5 and 5 today is that like one of the reasons I've been dreading my follow-ups lately is because I feel like I have these people that like are stringing me along. So they haven't told me they're not interested, but like they always deflect when I have the ask. And then I'll be like, that wasn't a no, that wasn't a yes. Like, I'm going to keep this conversation going and then like ask them again in a couple weeks as I continue this conversation. But that's exhausting because like I'm just like I don't know where we stand. And so and a lot of times these are people that I don't know super well. They're like connections through Facebook parties or like pretty cold market people. So there have been times that I've been impatient and I've just been like, look, like I'm going to cut straight to it. Like, are you interested in hearing more about what I do? But there are so many people that are like afraid to say no, like at times. So that's where it's not even that I'm stuck. I think that that's where I dread doing the 5 and 5 sometimes because I'm just like, ugh, this person again. Like you were on my list last month. I don't know where we stand right now, if that makes sense.
No, I mean, that totally makes sense. You know, the last couple of people that I sponsored onto our team, like were people that like, I think I showed it in one training where it was like, you know, like me texting them, no response, no response, no response, response, no response, no response, no response, response, no response, response, you know, and like, it's just like that game all the time. But here's how I look at it is that like, they're grown-ups. They can say no. Like you're not like I give that someone every out, you know, like if time, you know, like one thing what I do is like um I try and make it feel like like give them the benefit of the doubt so they're not embarrassed. Like I might say, oh my gosh, I know you must have probably had a busy week with Halloween going on and everything. I wanted to reach back out again because blah, 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 blah. Or, you know, another thing that we do, like, you know, I was talking actually with Blanca about this because she had some people who like they weren't responding. Like sometimes what I'll do on the third time that they're not responding is send a voice message, like a voice note, and just be like, hey, like I'm not trying to be that girl, you know, like listen, if you have no interest, I totally get it. But listen, I just want to show you what I'm doing. Because like, I mean, honestly, like Christiana, with all those people, like that's all you're trying to do is just like show them what you're doing. Like you're not, you know, and like I think like putting things in there, like I just want to show you what I'm doing, no strings attached. You know, like I've just always respected you because you were always so sharp. And you know, I really just want to show this to you and pick your brain afterwards. I mean, like I think if you're just kind of like you reiterate like what you're saying and like what you're asking for, like, I mean, and again, people are busy. So it's like, we can't get all in our head about like, I mean, there's so many times, and if this ever happens to y'all with me, like text me back, but there's so many times that I'll be driving and I'll see a text and like, I don't text back because I'm driving, but like, I forget to text back. Like I answer in my head and then I just don't text back, like, I mean, that happens all the time. I don't know if that happens to anyone else. But like, so like, I just assume like, and again, like I give people the benefit of the doubt. Like I just say, like, I give them the benefit of the doubt when I'm texting them back. So they don't feel embarrassed that they didn't get back to me. I'll just say, oh my gosh, I know you must have been so busy. Or and hey, I know we're coming into the holidays and I've got, I wanted to see if we could squeeze this in, or just like make it, like I kind of like put it all on me, and then sometimes what I'll say is if I really like gone to them, like, it usually has to be like 8 times before I'll do this. I'll say, hey, I just wanted to reach out to you one more time to see if blah, 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 blah. Like I say that, of course, it's not my last time, but I make it seem like that, because like I want them to be like, oh, she's not, because you're right. Like some people are afraid to say no because they don't want to miss out. They have FOMO, but they don't really want to say yes either. But if you kind of like say, hey, I want to reach out to you, like I wanted to reach out to you one more time, like that usually will get them to respond.
So here's an example, because for me, like it's not so much that they're not responding, it's just like they're deflecting. So like there's this one girl that was in a party of mine in January, and we had a conversation. I sent her a fizz. We had a one pager lined up, and then her boyfriend, something crazy happened. Like her boyfriend had a stroke at work or something, not to sound insensitive, but like something crazy happened. And so then of course I moved into, like, how is he, checking in on him type of thing. And now, like, I mean, it's been 10 months. Like this is just one example though, but now it's been this weird, like, ring around the rosy, I feel like, where like I'm checking in on her and her personal life and then asking like, what do you think about that fit? I mean, obviously I'm looking like back in January, February, but like,
let me ask you this. How soon were you reaching out to her? Like when all that happened, like, I mean, what's the gap of time that goes between there? Because you went multiple exposures over a short period of time.
so
Like
let's
start back up, you have
see.
to start the whole thing back over again.
So it looks like the party was like January 5th.
Hmm.
And then she was supposed to hop on a one pager with me 2 days later.
Mhm.
And then, so her, wait, okay, dates, sorry. Okay, so then I think she ghosted me. And then 4 days later was when she told me about her boyfriend.
Mhm.
But now, like, I mean, I just kind of left her alone for a little bit because I mean, like, she had a lot of stuff she was dealing with, taking him to the doctor and all this stuff. But like, she shows interest. Um, so I think it's people like that where, yes, they are busy. Like you said, everyone's busy, but it's like extreme life situations where I'm like, I want to respect you. I want to give you space, but like, how do I bring it back around? If that makes
So
sense.
I actually had this exact same situation happen last week in my 5 and 5s. It was this girl that I went to college with. And we were talking, and she's an architect in Atlanta. And we had connected. She says, sure, well, I'll connect. I did the one pager with her, was going to send her, she said, I'm probably not interested in the business. I'm super passionate about my, like my job. And I was like, she's like, but definitely let me look at the product. So I was going to send her a curiosity packet. The next day, her dad died. So and it was traumatic. Like, I mean, it was like her mom, like she had to like move her mom, or anyway, it was just like really, really traumatic. And so clearly I wasn't going to send the curiosity packet when I read that on Facebook. I sent her a message and I said, hey, I'm so sorry about your dad, just kind of told her, didn't talk anything about Arbonne. So then I left it alone because like, I mean, again, like I saw on Facebook, like just the grieving and just, I mean, this went on for a while. And so I was like, I need to reach out to her again. But so I just said, hey, I hope you and your mom are doing well. I love seeing, you traveling with her on Facebook. It's so fun. Listen, I wanted to circle back around about Arbonne. I didn't get you that packet because, you know, when that all of that, you know, everything happened with your dad, you know, when I was going to send it to you, and I just didn't want to, you know, bombard you with anything else. Like, I forget how, I mean, I had to take the time to like think about like how I was going to word this. And then I said, but I would love to send you this, you know, if anything else, it'll just be a good way for you to like relax and have a chill night, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I was putting in a sheet mask with it as well, with the other stuff. So like, I mean, that was just last week. That was on Friday, I think, or Thursday. But like, so I mean, I get it. Like, but it's almost like when things like that happen and like someone's kind of off the radar for a while, like I think you have to like kind of start it back up, you know, like that's why it's multiple exposures over a short period of time. But of course, like we're putting people in our pipeline for the follow-up, but like we have to be direct, you know, and like we have to say like, hey, I didn't do this and I'm doing this now. Like another good thing is like you can, like if there's like a video or something that you think of, you can say, hey, watch this video, it made me think of you. Or one thing that I say a lot is like, I would love to revisit Arbonne with you. I know we got off, you know, so much stuff had happened, you know, we kind of got off track, but you know, I think you're amazing and you'd be awesome at that. I mean, like be like bold, you know, and like just be bold, but like you kind of have to like start that excitement all over again. Does that make sense? Because like when things peter, like the whole reason why we do multiple exposures over a short period of time, like what I mean by that is like, you know, the Facebook event happens, you do the one pager, or you're supposed to do the one pager, like, you know, and then something happens like the stroke or whatever. But like, you know, then you kind of have to like, you're starting back over, you know, because she's going to lose that excitement just because life is going to happen. And like Arbonne's like the last thing she's thinking of. So then at the right time when you so think of it as like, I'm starting back over and I have to get her attention again. And like, I think sometimes the best way is just to be bold and tell them what you want. Like if it's someone that you want on your team, like if you think that there's something about it that's great, tell her, like, just be like, hey, I want to talk to you about this business because, you know, I'm sure you had to take off so much time from work, you know, with your boyfriend being off. And I think this would be the perfect, you know, like if anyone could understand that, you could understand having a flexible schedule, like how important that is. Do you have, you know, 15 to 20 minutes where I can show you this business? Because I think you'd be amazing, you know? So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but I think the key point to remember is that you have to start that excitement over again, like if like a lot of time has gone. And again, I do the revisit Arbonne all the time because again, like what I get in the habit with my 5 and 5, and this is where I started a few months ago, like really putting people into my tracker, because what I was doing was, I mean, I have 5 of these books complete now. So I was not putting people into my tracker. And I was literally like for my follow-up flipping back. So like I always like flip back to like the people who I have the check marks by, like on this side of it, those are people I only circle back to the people who respond, you know. So like the people who respond, those are my follow-up people. Well, I would get in a habit of just like flipping a few pages back and like kind of being in this cycle and then like forgetting about the other people. Well, once I put them on my tracker and it's all like color code and everything, I'm literally like going through my tracker now, like, you know, like where I'm keeping like a better, like a momentum, like a rhythm, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
But I mean, it was a pain for me to like be that behind and put everyone in my tracker. Like I had to like consciously, and I was really even wondering like, is this a waste of time? But it's been so helpful because it also makes my 5 and 5 go so fast, because I literally like pull up my spreadsheet and I'm just like, oh, this person is like done, you know, instead of like flipping my pages and all of that sort of thing. So like, that's also helpful, I find. So quiet.
I have something. And I've talked to Polly about this before, but I don't think we ever like anyway. So I do my spiel and they're like, oh no, I'm not interested in selling anything. So I'm like, oh no, like I don't want you to sell anything. Like I just want you like to hear me out. And then it's like nothing. I never get anything after that. And I'm like, do I send them a voice text? Do I just, you know,
well, I mean, maybe it's how you're wording it too. Like, I mean, like when you said you give them your spiel, like what is your spiel?
Like I send my text that, you know, hi, how are you? You know, just the little beginning. And then I'm like, you know, I would love to talk to you about, I have a health and wellness business with Arbonne. I am, oh my God, I can't think today. I, you know, love doing this, and I hope to make it full. I don't say make it full time one day, but you know, I don't want to see my son in like daycare, and you know, I would just love to share with you what I'm doing. You know, would you have some time this week, you know, for a quick call? And then I just need to find a text. I'm all over the place.
Yeah,
But
because like
I mean,
one
that's
thing like
the
I'm
gist.
hearing is like when you're doing that, it's a little bit open-ended. Like I want to show you what I'm doing because, you know, I want to show you what I'm doing, no strings that, this may or may not be something you're looking for, but I'd love to pick
Right.
your brain. Or I would love to
Okay.
like bounce some ideas off of you. Like I think that like you have to be like super specific in what you're asking for. And I say that, and people, I mean, I still get that all the time when I say to people, I just want to connect to you and show you what I'm doing. You know, I'm looking to connect with like-minded women. You've always been someone I wanted to show what I do. You know, like
Yeah.
if, worst case scenario, we'll get to know each other better, whatever. And like I still have people say, I can't buy anything right now. But then I just reiterate what I said. Like I just said, oh my goodness, I'm not asking you to buy anything. I truly just want to show you what I'm doing, connect, pick your brain afterwards. Or they might say, oh my gosh, I don't have a time to add something else to my plate, like thinking that I'm prospecting them. And I just say, oh my goodness, I'm not asking you to join my team. I truly just want to show you what it is that I'm doing and bounce some ideas off of you. Would you be up for that? And then they're like, oh, okay. And that's what I'm saying about like this whole follow-up thing with the statistics. Like you've got to be like, because I know like it's like, oh, like someone says something and you want to be like, oh, that's not what I meant. Like, and you're like embarrassed and like, you're like, oh gosh, but like, you want to be like proud and bold and be like, oh my gosh, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, and literally I'm thinking, did you just read my text? Cause I'm like laughing because I'm like,
that's exactly
it's
how
like
I
my
feel.
text, what they say, and then my reiterated text. That's exactly like the bulk of the body here is just brought down to here. But like I just reiterate it and say, no, all I want to do is, but like don't be shy about that.
So I was gonna add a couple of things because that's totally been happening with me too, Amber. So like there are two ways I go with that sometimes. One is like, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry for the miscommunication. Like this is what I mean. But sometimes I'll also add like, so sorry for the miscommunication. I totally get this might not be for you, but you may know people that, you could connect me with right now, or you may know people that are focusing more on health and wellness right now or something like that. So I would say that especially in the last couple of months, really focusing on like, oh, no, I'm just trying to network. I know you're not looking for this right now. Like, does a couple things, because then they're like, well, how do you know? And then like, like kind of their ego gets in the way a little bit. But then it also helps because like at the end of the day, yes, networking is crucial and we need to grow that network. So I don't like, that's definitely been really helpful for me lately.
Awesome. Thank you.
Maybe, I don't know if there's time for me.
Always time for you, Blanca.
Okay, yeah. So, I those couple of weeks has been through a lot personal things, and then I broke my toe, my my pinky, so many things, right? So it kind of gets me more frustrated for those days. But this is the thing. I think I started in August, September, even last month. My reach outs and follow-ups were pretty much my best friends and family and closer friends. So I'm not afraid or ashamed. I just go bold with them because they trust me. They know me for years, and I don't have to even try hard. But then most of them, they are my preferred clients. And I was like, I wanted to be also my partners, but it's too soon. So I'm trying to now contact people like former co-workers or people I met through, oh my God, all the Central Florida gyms that I have worked for 20 years. And they're like, oh, I'm so frustrated because I have reached them out like more than 6, 7 times. And then like they ghost me on purpose, but they were before like a hi, hello, sending me message or comments in my posts on Facebook, Instagram, and now like I know they're reading my text, and I wish that like at least they could say, no, Blanca, thank you. None. And I try in many ways, like congratulations for your new job, or I love to see your baby's pictures, and like nothing, no response, like are you serious? And like they think like I'm knocking the door, and I said, hey, buy me some products, and I don't want to do that, but I just and trust me all. I mean, you, Andrea, has been super awesome, and sometimes, oh my God, she is like she wastes her time so much a day, and like, you try to help me tremendously. I swear, God, but it's like I don't know what to do. So that's what I just ordered. My runner, my all this stuff, because you know what? I said, I'm done with those texts and calls and follow-ups. I want to start bringing 3-4 people here in my house and invite maybe cheese and some wine, and then showing my products. That's my new approach. It started tomorrow. I will do that because the other thing is not working for me. And I'm honest, it's not. And I'm like, I'm sick of the all, reaching up 7-8 times when they just don't say, not even, no, thank you, none. So.
And I know, like, I feel like I'll have a million answers for this just because we've been working together, but I know you're probably sick of hearing me. Polly, what would you say to Blanca about that?
Well, I guess a couple of things. One is I would wonder about, have you really reached out to lots of people? And also I wouldn't let it frustrate you, because so many people are going to come back and like, I have people that come back to me 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 5 weeks, 2 years after I reached out to them. I had somebody today that said, hey, oh my gosh, I never check Facebook, like I rarely am on Facebook. So, and so that's one thing I would say. I was actually thinking when you were talking that, hey, kudos to you for wanting to do other methods and because it all adds to your network, which is amazing. So I guess those are some of the immediate things, is try not to let it get you frustrated. Like Andrea used to tell me, stay on the baby roller coaster, not the big roller coaster with your emotions, and just attach yourself to the activity, because when we get so frustrated, that means we're thinking about the outcome. We're like, oh, nobody's answering. But just like Andrea said, when nothing's happening, everything's happening. So I think it's just being diligent, but you probably, and I don't know this because Blanca, I think you're amazing, and maybe you have, but you probably have so many more people that you could reach out to. Like case in point, me. So you can't, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, that saying, like, just like be faithful in doing your reach outs. I'm the same with this thing. I'm really consistent. And I can tell you, I'll go days sometimes and I go days and I don't get answers, but then all of a sudden I get 3, and so it just all kind of evens out. So it's just really kind of doing that and really connecting to the activity that matters.
And like you're learning, so Polly, this week I told her, which I think I told you this, it was so funny. And everyone who's been in Arbonne knows this, that they've all done this when they first started. But I explained to Blanca the concept of vomiting Arbonne on people.
Yeah.
Who in your business has ever vomited Arbonne on anyone? We all have. And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. And I'm like, it's fine. Like, that's so normal. Like, that is such a normal thing to do. Like, you try and over text, convince them, about Arbonne, and it's because they text you back and you text. And so it's so you're also in the beginning stages of like learning like all these skills, you know, of like, I mean, everyone is guilty of that. Like they get so excited that they just like, you know, want to like tell them everything that they're excited about. But like then before you know it, they make an answer in their head before you even had a conversation with them. Like you had a texting back and forth, and then they've already made a decision in their head, you know? So like it's totally fine to go back to those people and be like, I am so sorry. Like I was so excited to tell you everything. Like just like you said, Blanca, like you discovered this the other day. So this is kind of interesting. Like Blanca realized like she was meeting with this one lady about the business, and I was gonna Zoom in when they were at lunch together. And she like realized afterwards, she's like, you know what, this lady would have been more interested in the products first and then later bring up the business. And it's like, yes, like that is like, I mean, that's how some people run their whole business. And like Blanca, like you totally could, like, you know, like Polly was telling me, like, you know, Peyton Mott, like who, you
That's
know,
what she
like
did.
is like in her 20s and like, you know, making $97,000 a month. Like, you know, she got people on the 30-day. And then halfway through the 30-day, she'd say, well, you're referring me some people. Let me show you how this business works. You know, so she'd get people on the product first. But I know that on the surface, it looks like she's leading with a product. And we always say to lead with a business, but make no mistake about it, in her mind, she was leading with a business. But that was just her way. She got them exposed, like an exposure with Arbonne, and then the business. And like you totally recognize that, Blanca, you know, like with that with your friend, you know, and like that's totally fine to do. So I mean, a lot of times we just figure out what works for us. And just like Polly said, like having different approaches. Like I hadn't done a booth like that I did today and yesterday with Paula for years. I mean, A, because of COVID, but like also just because I just haven't done one, you know. But like I'm willing, like I mean, I was thinking about it, like I was like, this is so great. Like it's just such a great way to meet people, you know, like people that are interested, but it's going to have the same struggles that it will be reaching out to people that I know. Because like now as I go through this, I mean, every single person I reached out to today, no one's responded. Does that get me down? No, because like I know, wait, did one person respond, Paula? Oh,
No, I was
Oh,
just gonna say, because I kind of dork out on social media and marketing. No one's gonna respond to me on a Sunday. Like when I post anything on Facebook, it's gonna be Sunday night or Instagram or Monday morning. And that's when people start looking at stuff again. And that's when people respond to me. Like, I mean, I know I have just gotten started with this, but just in general, like I just watch the trends of social media and like, I know when to post. I know when not to. Like, you know, you don't post on a Friday night, you know, that kind of stuff. But like, I'm not going to text anybody tonight. And I could, but I'm going to do it tomorrow. Because that's when people get back to work and get back into business. And like, just like in our business, you know, like I sell furniture. I've been doing it for 30 years almost. Like that with like the people that aren't interested, like, you know, I can tell when someone walks in the door, I just greet them like I always have, ask if they need any help. And some of them are just going to be resistant right off the bat. No, you know? And I'm always just like very, yeah, that's fine. Let me know if you need any help, very standoffish. And that I let them know I'm there to help them with something. So I feel like I can turn that into something I do with Arbonne too. Like when I'm doing my reach outs, like I'm not trying to force anything on you, because especially as I've gotten older, I'm tired and I just don't really care if you buy furniture today or not, you know. But it works. It's like this hands-off approach to, you know, people that come in and buy furniture from us, because they know they can then approach me, you know, 20 minutes later, and then I'm going to sell them like $10,000 worth of stuff. And when they first walked in the door, they were just very like, don't bother me, don't help me, because they think you're going to sell them. So I have to always approach it at work like, I'm not going to sell you, I'm going to help you.
Well, and you have to think of it that same exact way, like you said, Paula, with what you're doing with Arbonne. Like that is the belief aspect that Andrew was talking about that took me a while, but now I truly think, hey, I am here to serve them and help them in some way. Like, why would I? It's like our past president, Rita Davenport, used to say, how dare you not? And that's so true. Like, I think when people say, well, I don't want to share with my family and friends, really? What got you excited about Arbonne? Like, why would you not want to share that? Whether it's product or business, that's nuts. If you were excited about a restaurant, you would share it. It's the same thing, but we just get funky in our head and we just have to talk back. because it's
Yeah.
the same thing.
And it was even funny today at the booth, like we were giving away the protein bites and the fizzy drink samples, and people, some of them wouldn't even touch it because they were afraid that meant they had to commit to something, you know. And we're like, no, come on, you know, like, so it's just funny how people are about, I don't know, being sold.
Yeah, it's just building those relationships. In Blanca, like I do think that like especially in the early stages for everyone, but like Blanca, I'm saying this to you because like for us to work together on this tomorrow, like really digging in, and like I can like look at that and be like, okay, well, what about this person? And then you tell me like what's been going on, and then we can be like, okay, let's try a different approach. Or hey, you're having something at your house, like let's change the course of that, and like let's invite them for something fun and tell them to bring a friend, you know, and hear about it that way, you know. And again, like you'll be surprised, like just different approaches and things like that will get people like to come around and start talking, you know, because that's really what you want, is you want like a dialogue going back and forth. And so what I'm gonna do tonight, like
I have for my neighbors, they supposed to come this weekend. But 2 of them, they were in Vegas, and the 2 of them also got COVID, and like, damn it.
Yeah, don't come. Okay, but someone like the people who got COVID, what you can do is you can like drop a little fizz off at the, like make a little care package of a couple fizzes and a detox tea and say, I'm so sorry you couldn't come, but you know what, this is gonna make you feel better, like, you know, just energy wise, like take this. And then they're gonna be like, oh my gosh, that's so nice. You know what I'm saying? Like
no, so this is wanted to share with all of you. Remember Maria Elena, my best friend, she just got her birthday. She ignored me, you know, and she's my friend. At the beginning, I said, no, I don't want anything. But remember one day I told her, let's get a coffee, let's catch up. I haven't seen you. And I brought all my Arbonne things, every little thing I have. So after a conversation, and I told her, I know you're not interested, but no, first she said, oh my God, you look great. And I said, oh, thanks. No, but your face and everything, I love it. And said, well, I know you are not interested, but you know, I just wanted to show you. And I showed her everything that I got. And she says, oh my God, I love this cream. I love this and then this and that, blah, 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 blah. So, and then she said, I'm going to Texas, but she was just recovering from COVID, right? And she was constantly coughing and coughing and coughing, and said, you know what? I want to drop you to your house. I want to give you 10 of my boosters.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going to help you out. And then she says, really? I say, yes, help you out with, you know, for your immune system. I said, okay, sure. So she got it. And guess what, guys? They don't have a cough. She doesn't have a cough. She's not coughing anymore at all. She loved that. And she ordered 2 boxes of that in the 30 days.
And the 30 day. Yeah. She had like a $600 order. So she went from someone who wasn't interested at all in hearing about it to like.
I called back with all my stuff. Like, oh my God. And I love. So that's what I was thinking. I prefer to, you know, do those parties in my house and let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So
I'll fly down there and do them with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It'll be good. Well, okay. So this is what I'm going to say tonight, because I know we're over. Gosh, we're so over, y'all. I'm sorry. But like, let's do this next week. Like, let's just go straight into talking about like situations like this and follow up and how we can follow up and stuff, because I do love, like, I mean, everyone has such a different perspective, you know, and like we can all help each other out, because the things that are happening, it's not just happening to you. Like, it's not like, you know, like, oh my gosh, like only people respond to Christiana that way. You know, it's like they're responding to me that way, and to Polly that way, and to Paula that way, and just everyone that way. And so like we can all help each other out to like have situations just like how Blanca shared, like what she did, like to turn around, like a not calling her back, a ghosting her, to a not interested, to a $600 order, and someone who's excited about Arbonne, you know, and she's not finished yet. So, all right. Well, y'all have a great night. And Paula will be doing the follow-up tomorrow. And Blanca, let's talk tomorrow and we'll go through your list. Okay. And if anyone else needs help, let me know. I'll be here.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks, guys.